What if you woke up one day to find that you were the last human on Earth, but all the animals had developed their own civilization? Imagine that. You're stumbling out of bed, and as you look around, you realize something feels off. The usual sounds of the city, the rustle of leaves in the trees, the chatter of birds, it's all gone. Instead of the familiar hum of human activity, the world feels eerily silent, almost as if it's holding its breath. You step outside and you find the streets empty. But then you spot something, a movement in the distance. You squint, trying to make sense of what you're seeing. Is that a bear wearing a vest and carrying a briefcase? And are those squirrels arguing over something in front of a podium? You blink again. Yep, it's happening. The world's animals have figured it out. They've developed their own civilization, and you're just an observer now, the last human standing in a world that's moved on without you. At first, you can't help but laugh. It's absurd, right? Bears running businesses. Rabbits holding town hall meetings. Monkeys riding bicycles down the street like it's completely normal. You're a human, the species that used to be at the top of the food chain, the ones who built cities, created technology, and thought we had it all figured out. But now the animals are in charge, and you're stuck in a world where your species is nothing more than a ghost in the machine. As you wander through this strange new society, you start to notice the little details. The dogs are walking around in professional uniforms, maybe even wearing tiny glasses as they discuss their latest projects. There are bustling marketplaces, but they're not filled with humans buying gadgets and clothes. No, they're trading in nuts, berries, and carefully crafted wooden trinkets, all expertly made by beavers who seem to be running the show. And the cats? Well, the cats are in charge of the media, clearly. They're lounging on high balconies, overseeing everything with a regal air, occasionally sending out snide commentary on their social media platforms, which is probably why everyone listens to them. You're the only one left, the last human in a world that's been completely remade. The realization sets in. You're no longer the dominant species. You're a relic, a curiosity, maybe even a bit of a joke. And yet, there's a part of you that's fascinated by this new society. You watch the animals. Some of them are working together. Others are in fierce competition. And there's even the occasional animal rebellion. The more you explore, the more you realize just how complex their world is. The crows, ever clever, have formed their own network of spies and have a well-established communication system that rivals any secret agent organization. The elephants have become the philosophers of this world, gathering in circles to debate the nature of existence and the future of their civilization. You start to wonder, how did this happen? How did they go from being simple creatures of instinct to building cities and creating culture? But while you're fascinated by the animals' progress, there's a sense of loneliness that settles in. You can't communicate with them. They've developed their own languages and systems, ones that you can't even begin to understand. You try to talk to the animals, but they just look at you like you're some strange, outdated species. You might try to ask a group of raccoons for directions to the nearest town hall, but they just scurry off, too busy with their own business. You're a human in a world that has evolved past you, and it stings. You might even start to feel like an outsider, an alien in your own home. First, the novelty of it all is exciting. The idea of a world where animals have developed their own civilization is thrilling. You might sneak into a rabbit parliament meeting and watch them discuss agriculture or listen in on a heated debate between a flock of parrots about the best kind of tree to build nests in. But slowly, the initial excitement starts to wear off. You begin to realize that being the last human on Earth isn't as fun as it seemed. The animals don't need you. They don't want your help. In fact, you're an oddity, something they don't quite know how to handle. Maybe you'll sit in a park and watch a family of deer build a tiny cottage, or you'll try to join a meeting at the otter-run fishery, but you're always just a visitor, someone who doesn't belong in their world. You'd also start to notice that, in many ways, the animals have their own set of problems. The rabbits might be facing a housing crisis because they can't seem to agree on zoning laws for their burrows. The raccoons are getting into petty disputes over territory, while the foxes are trying to establish their dominance in a neighboring forest. It's not all sunshine and cuddles in this animal utopia. Just like humans, the animals have their own politics, their own power struggles, and their own dramas. But the difference is they've learned to navigate them without you. They've created systems, ones that don't need humans to run. At some point, you'll probably try to search for other humans. Maybe there's a hidden group of survivors. Maybe there's a secret village of humans that you just haven't stumbled upon yet. But the longer you search, the more hopeless it seems. The world has moved on. You start to accept it. You're not just the last human. You're the only one who remembers what it was like before, the last link to a world that's no longer. In your loneliness, you might even begin to miss the little things about human life. The way people used to gather for dinner, the smell of coffee in the morning, the feeling of belonging to something bigger than yourself. But those things are gone now, and instead you're in a world where animals run the show, and you're just a spectator. But what if, in time, you start to see the bigger picture? What if this animal civilization, with all its quirks and flaws, is a glimpse into the future of Earth itself? Maybe, just maybe, the animals are thriving because they've learned to adapt, to coexist, to respect their environment in ways that humans failed to do. Could this be the Earth's way of rebooting itself, of letting nature take back control? The animals, having evolved into this new society, might actually be creating a more sustainable world, one that doesn't rely on the exploitation and destruction that humans brought to the planet. In the end, being the last human on Earth in a world of animal civilizations would be a strange, bittersweet experience. You'd be caught between a sense of awe at what the animals have achieved, and a deep loneliness as you realize that you're no longer a part of it. The world has moved on, but it has also created something new, something you might never fully understand. Would you try to live among them? Would you try to learn their ways? Or would you just sit back and watch as the animals build a world without you, and perhaps without any need for you at all? The question is, how would you fit into a world where you're no longer the dominant species, and how would you make peace with being the last of your kind? Let me know in the comments. Because, if anything, this would be the ultimate test of what it means to truly belong.